If you become a patron, you can hear more audiobooks that aren't available on YouTube, such as Socialism with Chinese Characteristics, A Guide for Foreigners by Roland Bohr, Khrushchev Lied and Blood Lies by Grover Furr, a rare biography of Mao Zedong written by his most trusted bodyguard, and much more. Become a subscriber by following the first link in the description below. Thank you for your support. The Governance of China, Volume 4 by Xi Jinping. Audiobook Part 12, Advanced Socialist Culture. Give greater prominence to cultural development. Part of the speech at a meeting with experts and representatives from education, culture, health, and sports sectors. September 22nd, 2020. Building socialism with Chinese characteristics is a great undertaking defined by progress in all areas and endeavors. There can be no socialist modernization without a thriving socialist culture. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, we have raised cultural development to new heights. We have included confidence in our culture as part of the four-sphere confidence in Chinese socialism, along with confidence in our path, theory, and system. We have reaffirmed the guiding position of Marxism in the ideological domain, which is fundamental to all systems of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We have highlighted the promotion of the core socialist values as an imperative in upholding and developing Chinese socialism in the new era. Recent years have witnessed historic achievements and shifts in our cultural development. This is the result of our continued efforts to clear up confusion and misunderstandings and innovate on the basis of what has worked in the past. All this has provided tremendous strength for upholding and developing Chinese socialism in the new era, and for breaking new ground in all undertakings of the party and the state. I have emphasized on many occasions that we should have unwavering confidence in our culture and promote the creative transformation and development of traditional Chinese culture. We should carry forward revolutionary culture and foster an advanced socialist culture so as to add new luster to Chinese culture and to build China into a country with a strong socialist culture. Culture is an important factor in advancing the five-sphere integrated plan and the four-pronged comprehensive strategy. It is a fulcrum for high-quality development, an important element of our efforts to meet the people's growing expectation for a better life, and a source of strength in overcoming risks and challenges on our way ahead. During the 14th five-year plan period, 2021 to 2025, we will give greater prominence to cultural development and strive for practical results. We should uphold the guiding position of Marxism in the ideological field, base our efforts on Chinese culture, and continue to guide cultural development with the core socialist values. We should promote socialist cultural and ethical progress and develop cultural undertakings and industries with a focus on our mission to uphold socialism, rally public support, foster a new generation with sound values and ethics, develop Chinese culture, and present a positive image of China. We will continue to reinforce China's soft power, increase the influence of Chinese culture, and leverage the role of culture in building social norms, educating the people, serving society, and promoting development. A sense of civic duty and pride is a key attribute of any modern country. Strengthening social norms and civil conduct will be a major task in building a great socialist culture, and we will make sustained efforts to pursue cultural progress. Ideas, attitudes, civilized customs, and norms of conduct must be fostered to meet the requirements of the new era. We should study and gain a deeper understanding of our party's innovative theories and promote regular education campaigns on ideals and convictions. We should strengthen education on the history of the CPC, the PRC, reform and opening up, and the development of socialism, and education on patriotism, collectivism, and socialism. Through this education, we can help the people to build greater confidence in the path, theory, system, and culture of Chinese socialism, and promote unity of thinking and spirit among all Chinese people. We need to study the origin and characteristics of Chinese civilization and culture, and form a comprehensive system of ideas rooted in Chinese culture. We will continue to raise the people's moral, ethical, and cultural standards, and encourage them to take part in voluntary service. We will build an honest society and promote a sound environment on the internet. We should advocate hard work and thrift, resolutely oppose extravagance and waste, and create a social atmosphere in which thrift is honorable and waste is shameful. Developing cultural undertakings is the best way to meet the people's cultural needs and protect their cultural rights and interests. Ensuring that our culture serves the people and socialism, and keeping to the principle of letting 100 flowers blossom and 100 schools of thought contend, we should comprehensively build up the press and publishing, radio, film and television, literature and art, philosophy and social sciences, and help them to flourish and prosper. We must improve public cultural services so that our people can enjoy a richer cultural life of higher quality. We will integrate public cultural services between urban and rural areas to narrow the current gap by optimizing the allocation of cultural resources, improving the rural cultural infrastructure network, and increasing the total supply of public cultural services in rural areas. What matters most in judging the quality and level of development of the cultural industry is not its economic returns, but whether it can provide more cultural products to meet the needs of the people and empower them. We should continue to give top priority to social benefits and integrate this with economic returns, further reform the cultural system, improve plans and policies for the cultural industry, and expand the supply of quality cultural products. While following the trend of digitalization and transformation of traditional industries with digital technologies, we should develop new types of cultural business, transform and upgrade traditional cultural enterprises, and improve the quality, efficiency, and core competitiveness of the cultural industry. In accordance with China's major regional development strategies, we should analyze the rules governing the development of the cultural industry and its resource factors, and foster a new development model for the industry. The cultural and tourist industries are inseparable. We should enrich tourism with culture and promote cultural prosperity through tourism to facilitate integrated development, so that people can appreciate culture and cultivate their minds while enjoying the beauty of nature. Promote traditional culture and increase cultural confidence. Part of the speech at the 23rd Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 19th CPC Central Committee, September 28, 2020. I have made it clear on many occasions that cultural confidence is a broader, deeper, and more essential confidence, and it represents a more fundamental, more profound, and long-lasting force. China has firm confidence in its path, theory, and system. This is essentially a confidence in its culture based on more than 5,000 years of civilization. Archaeological work is a significant cultural undertaking, highly important in both a social and a political sense. As our fight against skepticism towards and distortion of Chinese history and culture will continue for a long time to come, we must pay more attention to archaeological research and let historical facts speak for themselves. This will provide strong support for our efforts to carry forward the best of traditional Chinese culture and increase our cultural confidence. To this end, we must, first, explore the unknown and reveal the truth. Much of our ancient history is yet to be discovered, and will require a lot of hard work in our archaeological research. For example, the lack of adequate written records leaves a noticeable gap in the history of the Xia dynasty, circa 2070 to 1600 BC. This highlights the importance of archaeology in documenting an accurate account of this period. Archaeologists must solve the mysteries over the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, and other pre-Xia figures. Are they mythological or historical? We should ensure the smooth implementation of projects, such as comprehensive research into the origins of the Chinese civilization and its early development, and archaeological finds in China. We need a better survey of our archaeological heritage and better research on applicable policies and we need to improve overall planning for archaeological work. We should make proper arrangements for archaeological research into major historical issues and pool our resources in pursuit of new breakthroughs. Second, strive for new progress in archaeological excavation and in documenting and interpreting the findings. Archaeologists should work closely with researchers from other fields: economics, law, politics, culture, society, eco-environment, science and technology, and medicine, to study artifacts and ruins and make an interpretive analysis of these material remains. They need to give a clearer and more comprehensive explanation of the origins and evolution of Chinese civilization and its contribution to humanity. Archaeologists should draw on the latest research findings on history and update information on China's ancient past to provide the public with more complete and accurate information. Third, bring historical and cultural heritage under proper protection. As the evidence bearers of our history, archaeological sites and relics must be well protected. We will put in place a sound system for managing historical and cultural heritage and resources and build a national database of cultural relics. We will strengthen the overall guidance of departments and institutions involved in cataloging relics and disseminating that information. We will intensify the technical support they need and guide their public engagement. While prioritizing the protection of historical and cultural heritage, we need to make best use of it in providing public cultural services and meeting the people's intellectual and cultural needs. We need to improve mechanisms for protecting immovable cultural relics and incorporate the tasks of protection and management into the overall planning and use of our territorial space. We need to design systems and support policies under which archaeological work is carried out before land transfer. This means that land which might contain historical or cultural relics cannot be used for any other purposes before archaeological investigation, fieldwork, and excavation have been carried out. We must draw lessons from the cases of serious damage to cultural relics at home and abroad, and supervise relevant departments in fulfilling their responsibilities, take more measures to address hidden risks, and improve our ability to protect historical and cultural heritage. We must strengthen law enforcement and supervision, standardize the procedures for reporting misconduct related to the protection of historical and cultural relics, and fight against related crimes. Fourth, build up our capacity for archaeological research and develop relevant disciplines. We must apply dialectical and historical materialism and undertake in-depth theoretical research to specific ends. For example, to establish historically accurate criteria for defining a civilization, especially the Chinese civilization. We will develop a Chinese approach to archaeology with our own features, style, and ethos, and give China more influence and a stronger voice in archaeology on the international stage. We will use new technology-based approaches and tools to find and analyze artifacts and to protect historical and cultural heritage. We will proactively cultivate and expand our archaeological talent base so that more young enthusiasts will be attracted to this work and devote themselves to this field now and in the future. Spread traditional Chinese culture from a Marxist standpoint. Part of the speech at the Jushi Park in Wuyishan City during a visit to Fujian Province. March 22nd, 2021. During my inspection tour in Shandong, I made a special trip to the Confucius Temple and his family mansion in Chufu. Now, I have arrived in Wuyishan City, and I must therefore come and visit the park commemorating Zhu Xi. Footnote 1. Zhu Xi, 1130 to 1200, was a Neo-Confucian philosopher and educator of the Southern Song dynasty. End of footnote 1. As we have opted for the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics, We must adapt Marxism to the Chinese context. If there were no 5,000-year Chinese civilization, how could we build anything with what we describe today as Chinese characteristics? And if it were not for these characteristics, how could we have successfully embarked on the path to socialism with Chinese characteristics? That is why we should value the cream of our civilization and explore its depths. We should carry forward the best of traditional Chinese culture from a Marxist standpoint and with a Marxist viewpoint and methodology, and stick to the path of Chinese socialism. Present an accurate, multidimensional, and panoramic image of China. Main points of the speech at the 30th Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 19th CPC Central Committee. May 31st, 2021. To strengthen our international communication capacity, it is important to tell genuine and engaging stories, make our voice heard, and present an accurate, multidimensional, and panoramic image of China. We should be fully aware of the importance and necessity of strengthening international communication in the new era, and aim to have a stronger voice in the world that is compatible with China's overall national strength and international status. We can thereby create an environment where public opinion outside China is positive towards our reform, development, and stability. This will contribute to building a global community of shared future. Our party has always attached great importance to international communication. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, we have devised new forms of international communication based on the best of our traditions, improved our domestic and international systems, established media clusters with international influence, and continued to promote the global outreach of Chinese culture. We have presented an effective discourse to an international audience and put in place a basic framework for international communication that is wide-ranging and multi-dimensional, and involves multiple players. China's voice is much better heard, and its international influence has increased significantly. At the same time, we are faced with a new situation and new tasks. To meet these challenges, we should strengthen top-level design and overall planning, and establish strategies for our international discourse with distinctive Chinese features. The strategy will focus on how to shape international public opinion by making our communication more effective, our culture more attractive, our image more positive, and our narrative more powerful in the global arena. We should move faster to establish our own discourse and narrative, interpret China's practice with China's theory, and enrich China's theory with China's practice. We should create new concepts, domains, and expressions that are accessible to an international audience and present panoramic and distinctive stories of China and its culture. We need to let the audience of other countries know more about the CPC and help them understand that our party truly works in the interests of the Chinese people, and what are the reasons for the success of our party, of Marxism, and of Chinese socialism. We should conduct in-depth studies from a range of perspectives: politics, economics, culture, social affairs, and the eco-environment, focusing on China's spirit, values, and strengths, so as to provide academic and theoretical support for our international communication. We must promote Chinese culture beyond our national borders, advocating common values, sharing our ideas, and increasing mutual understanding, to let the world know more about our culture and how it embodies Chinese spirit and wisdom. We need to strike the right tone, be open, confident, and modest, and present a true image of China as a country worthy of friendship, trust, and respect. China's ideas, visions, and solutions should be better communicated to the international community. China is moving closer to the center stage of the world. We have both the capacity and the duty to play a larger role in global affairs, to work together with other countries in solving the common problems of humanity, and to make a greater contribution to the world. We will champion the cause of building a global community of shared future and share with the world our approach to development, civilization, security, human rights, the eco-environment, international order, and global governance based on our successful experience and a history dating back more than 5,000 years. We will continue to advocate multilateralism and oppose unilateralism and hegemonism. We will work closely with the international community to shape a new international order that is fairer and more equitable, and to build a new model of international relations. We need to make best use of countless vivid and inspiring examples to illustrate that China's development is its greatest contribution to the world in its own right, and offers a Chinese approach to resolving problems confronting humanity. We should carry out cultural and people-to-people exchanges with other countries in all forms and through all channels to promote mutual understanding and friendship. We will innovate our systems and mechanisms to turn our institutional, organizational, and human resource strengths into strengths in communication. We need to better leverage the role of prominent experts and make their voices heard through platforms and channels such as major international conferences, forums, and mainstream foreign media. All provincial authorities and central departments should make use of their unique features and strengths to present a vivid, colorful, and multidimensional image of China. We need to make our international discourse more effective and see that our communicators are competent and can adapt to the needs of international communication in the new era. We will step up theoretical research to better understand the rules governing international communication. We will establish a system for international communication and improve our communication skills. To make our stories and voice more engaging and relevant, we must adopt an approach tailored to global, regional, or specific audiences, and adapted to different regions, countries, or groups of people. We need to make more friends, unite more people, and win more support. We need to expand the circle of friends who understand and have a positive view of China and will speak up for China on the international stage. We must adopt the appropriate tactics and techniques to make our voice better heard on major issues. Party committees and party leadership groups at all levels should take capacity building for international communication as one of their key responsibilities. They should reinforce their organization and leadership and see that adequate funds are available and practical issues are solved to ensure that progress is made. Leading officials at all levels should personally engage in international communication. Principal officials mandated for the job should be personally involved. They should receive training in international communication, and party organizations at all levels should help create an atmosphere where all participants conscientiously uphold the dignity and image of the party and the country. Party schools, academies of governance, should incorporate international communication skills in their curriculum. Colleges and universities should strengthen the development of academic disciplines related to international communication, train a corps of professionals, and undertake relevant theoretical research. Build a better cyberspace. Main part of the congratulatory letter to the First China Internet Civilization Conference, November 19th, 2021. As an important element of civilized social conduct in the new era, a sound cyber culture will contribute to China's growing strength in cyberspace. In recent years, by reinforcing cyber governance, China has enriched and improved online content and achieved notable results in promoting civility, decency, and desirable practices and trends online. We need to coordinate development and governance and online and offline efforts, and bring together all positive forces for the common good. Party committees and governments at all levels must shoulder their responsibilities, and internet platforms, social organizations, and netizens need to play an active role in promoting civility in running and using the internet. Let us shape cyberspace with healthy practices and build a better cyberspace together. Create new prospects for Chinese literature and art. Part of the speech at the opening ceremony of the 11th National Congress of the China Federation of Literary and Art Circles and the 10th National Congress of the China Writers Association. December 14th, 2021. A country will thrive only if its culture thrives, and a nation will be strong only if its culture is strong. China today is a nation of magnificent landscapes and open-hearted people with a great future ahead. This era provides a huge and broad stage for our literature and art to thrive. It is incumbent on Chinese writers and artists to build the strongest possible socialist culture in our country. Take this responsibility on your shoulders, and you can accomplish a great deal. As writers and artists, you must have a deeper understanding of and greater confidence in our culture. Act with a stronger sense of purpose and mission to contribute to a culture that serves the people and socialism. Respond to the call to let 100 flowers blossom and 100 schools of thought contend, and press ahead with the creative transformation and development of our fine, traditional culture, upholding socialism, rallying public support, fostering a new generation with sound values and ethics, and building a better national image. Take on the great responsibility of nourishing the roots and forging the soul of our nation, and accomplish new feats in your literary and artistic creations based on our fine cultural traditions. To this end, you should yourselves meet higher standards of virtue and moral integrity through self-cultivation. We expect you to produce more edifying works to encourage the people to improve themselves and embrace higher virtues and ethics, so as to create new prospects for Chinese literature and art and add new luster to Chinese culture. This will provide a powerful force to guide values, strengthen cultural cohesion, and motivate the people to contribute to the achievement of the second centenary goal and the realization of the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. Here I would like to share with you some of my expectations. First, I hope that as writers and artists you will champion the cause of national rejuvenation and invest your enthusiasm in showcasing the spectacular achievements of the Chinese nation on the new journey towards rejuvenation in the new era. National rejuvenation has been the greatest dream of the Chinese people in the modern era. Over the past century, the CPC has adapted the basic tenets of Marxism to China's realities and its fine traditional culture, united the people across the country, and led them in writing a magnificent chapter in the history of human progress, the most brilliant in the millennia-long history of the Chinese nation. China's rejuvenation has become an irreversible historic process. We are closer to, more confident in, and more capable of achieving the goal than ever before. But we must be prepared to work harder than ever to get there. Culture is the lifeblood of a nation, while literature and art sound the clarion call of the times. An ancient Chinese once said, "Literature is the channel by which ideas are disseminated." Footnote 1. Li Han. Preface to collected works of Han Yu. Li Han, dates unknown, was an official of the Tang dynasty and a student and son-in-law of Han Yu, 768 to 824, one of China's finest prose writers. End of footnote 1. As Chinese socialism has entered a new era and China has embarked on the new journey towards a modern socialist country, you writers and artists should firmly grasp the contemporary theme of national rejuvenation and closely integrate your life and artistic goals with the future of our country, the destiny of our nation, and the aspirations of our people. Your literary and artistic creations should record the history of national rejuvenation and portray the people's endeavors on the journey, helping to boost this great undertaking, consolidate its foundations, shape the national spirit, and forge the soul of the nation. Over the past 100 years, the CPC has led the Chinese people through a tenacious struggle to success in China's transformation from standing up, becoming better off, and growing in strength through its great leap forward from lagging behind to catching up with the times, and to steering current and future trends. In this process, it has created an epoch in the history of humanity. As writers and artists, you need to see things from a broader perspective so as to develop an accurate understanding of the underlying trends of history and our times. A perfect command of the overall situation is as powerful as a million-strong army. Your literary and artistic works should reflect the tremendous changes in the millennia-long history of the Chinese nation and China's historic achievements over the past 100 years. In them, you should advocate the national spirit with patriotism at its core and the spirit of our times, with reform and innovation at its core, and champion the great founding spirit of the CPC and China's underlying values. For the Chinese people, the new era of socialism with Chinese characteristics is one of overcoming new trials and challenges, creating a bright future, and striving for a better life. There is a saying, "From a mountaintop you will enjoy a broader outlook. Down by the riverside you will enjoy a pleasant prospect." Footnote 2. Hong Ying-ming, tending the roots of wisdom, Cai Gen Tan. Hong Yingming, dates unknown, was a philosopher of the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. End of footnote 2. Writers and artists need to keep pace with the times and feel the pulse of art from the heartbeat of our era. Your literary and artistic creations should embrace the great struggle of hundreds of millions of people and depict their rich and colorful life. You need to draw inspiration for your subject matter from the changing times, from China's advances, and from the call of the people. You should reveal the beauty of China's history, landscapes, and culture, showcase the people's dedication, creativity, and attainments, and present the prevailing features of the new era in every respect. Second, I hope that you will stand firmly on the side of the people and create an enduring epic about the people. Fundamentally, socialist literature and art are from the people, for the people, and of the people. The people make the progress and prosperity of Chinese literature and art possible. You should take a people-centered approach, putting the people first. Their satisfaction should be the highest standard against which to judge the quality of your literary and artistic works. You should create more excellent works that meet the people's cultural aspirations, build up their cultural strength, and let the flowers of art and literature forever blossom for the people. People are the creators of history and of this era. Their individual struggles are bright chapters telling of their zeal for making history. When put together, they will form a shining epic. People are the wellspring of literature and art and an inexhaustible source of nourishment and inspiration. They offer a world of subjects that literature and art can build on. Literary and artistic works should sing the praises of the people's efforts to make history, of all those who have contributed to national rejuvenation, and most of all, of the heroes who have sacrificed their lives for others. Mao Dun once said, "A writer of novels must not only have extensive life experience, but also a well-trained mind to be able to examine and understand complex social phenomena." Footnote 3. Mao Dun, My Retrospect, Complete Works of Mao Dun, Volume 19, Chinese edition, People's Publishing House, Beijing, 1991, page 406. Mao Dun, 1896 to 1981, was a well-known novelist and left-wing activist. End of footnote 3. The Russian writer Leo Tolstoy observed, "Art is not a handicraft. It is the transmission of the feelings that the artist has experienced." Footnote 4. Leo Tolstoy. What is art? End of footnote 4. Life is the people, and the people are life. People are genuine and down to earth. They should neither be portrayed as fictional caricatures nor be ridiculed for fun. They must be treated with respect. Only by engaging deeply with the people to understand their resilience in weal and woe can you gain an insight into the nature of life, feel the pulse of the times, and appreciate the aspirations of the people. Only in this way can you create thought-provoking works that have enduring appeal. The people should be the heroes in your works, and you need to think and feel the way the people are thinking and feeling, and stay close to the people, showing empathy and opening your heart. You need to embrace the new era and enjoy the brilliance of life together with the people, and sing for them and for our era. Literature and art excel in images, and the classical images of literature and art became the hallmark of the era they represent. All aspirational and capable writers and artists should increase their ability to study and understand life, constantly exploring new phenomena and people who represent the spirit of our age. Literature and art should come from life and transcend it. You should create more images that are fascinating, appealing, and moving with a style that integrates realism and romanticism, leaving as your legacy memorable artistic classics for future ages. Writing is about expressing ideas through the optimal use of words. Footnote 5. Liu Xie, Carving a Dragon with a Literary Mind. Liu Xie, circa 465 to 532, was a literary critic during the southern dynasties. End of footnote 5. Works that encourage the pursuit of excellence and extol virtues and beauty can sound the clarion call of the times. Perfect goodness makes perfect beauty. Writers and artists should carry on China's fine literary and artistic tradition of pursuing excellence and goodness and promote the core socialist values through vivid language and images. You need to present what shows strength, morality, and warmth. Advocate what is healthy and discard what is coarse. You are encouraged to create more excellent works from a fresh perspective. that are thought-provoking and eloquent in order to cultivate people's aesthetic values and enrich their cultural life. Third, I hope you will continue to innovate on the basis of what has succeeded in the past and open up new horizons for literature and art with masterpieces that reflect the times we live in. It is through works that we evaluate the literary and artistic achievements of an era or the value of a writer or an artist. So, you should do your best to innovate and produce great works that do justice to our great nation and to this great era. Through the ages, the most outstanding works of literature and art have invariably been those that best combine ideas and artistic expression. As a Chinese philosopher once put it, a good and well-constructed argument makes one feel upright and righteous. Only by feeling upright and righteous can one be eloquent and articulate. Only with articulate eloquence can one create well-structured and meaningful writing. Footnote 6. Li Ao. A replying letter to Zhu Ziyan. Li Ao, 772 to 841, was a philosopher and prose writer of the Tang Dynasty. End of footnote 6. No work will have a soul and spread far and wide unless it is infused with the value of beauty, and its theme and art form complement each other. As writers and artists, you should take quality as the lifeblood of your work, and be strict in selection of content and meticulous in your artistic creation. You should think profoundly, strive to add more artistic and cultural value to your works, and make them a source of the people's cultural strength. Personal style is essential to literature and art. The writer Liu Qing said, "Those engaged in writing will become writers only when they stop imitating others." Footnote 7. A collection of Liu Qing's short notes, sorted by Liu Kefeng, daughter of Liu Qing. End of footnote 7. And literature of each era has its own style. Footnote 8. Liu Qing. Life is the foundation of literary creation. Collected works of Liu Qing. Volume 4. Chinese edition. People's Literature Publishing House, Beijing, 2005, page 332. End of footnote 8. You writers and artists need to respect and learn from your predecessors, but beyond that, you should have the ambition to outshine them. Have the courage to force yourselves towards a higher realm of creation by resisting the temptation to plagiarize, follow the fashion, or ride on the coattails of others. China's extensive and profound civilization embodies the distinctive traits of the Chinese nation. It underpins contemporary Chinese literature and art, and provides valuable resources and inspiration for literary and artistic creation. Chinese culture always advocates the practice of collecting even incomplete articles and essays from previous generations and gathering even heritage that may have been neglected or ignored by our forebears. Footnote 9. Liu Ji, The Art of Writing. Liu Ji, 261-303, was a writer and calligrapher of the Western Jin dynasty. End of footnote 9. To sustain its vitality, Chinese writers and artists should try to tap into the ideas, humanism, and ethics of traditional Chinese culture, integrate artistic creativity with Chinese cultural values, and combine traditional and modern aesthetics. It is not the way of inheritance to hold fast to established conventions and follow the old ways. Neither should it be called innovation to sever links with tradition purely to create a novelty. You need to properly handle the relationship between legacy and innovation by learning from the past, but not in a rigid manner, and by innovating, but not breaking entirely with the past, so that China's fine traditions can serve as a major source of innovation in literature and art. Today, different forms of art are interconnected and different forms of expression converge. New technologies, including the internet, big data, and artificial intelligence, have given birth to new forms of literary and artistic expression and expanded the space for creation. That said, we must understand that all techniques and methods are means to serve the content. While science and technology, progress and innovation can help to update forms of artistic expression and rendition, life remains the essential source of inspiration for all literary and artistic works if they are to achieve depth and richness. New technologies and new methods should be employed as appropriate to stimulate creativity and inspiration, enrich cultural value, and express ideas and emotions so as to make works broader and more meaningful. Fourth, I hope you writers and artists will put your heart and soul into telling Chinese stories and present China as a country worthy of friendship, trust, and respect. As the Chinese people have always been firm champions of the common good of humanity, contemporary Chinese literature and art should always have the whole world in its sights. Writers and artists should have the confidence and ambition to carry on our traditional culture while developing it to reflect what is new in the world, and should produce more outstanding works that highlight Chinese aesthetics, spread contemporary Chinese values, and reflect the common values pursued by all of humanity. People of different countries, though vastly different in their circumstances and prospects, share the same unremitting desire for a better life and face the unyielding struggle to better their lot. These are themes that readily strike a chord. Marx once said, "What the nations have done as nations, they have done for human society." Footnote 10. Karl Marx, draft of an article on Friedrich List's book, Das Nationalsystem der Politischen Ökonomie. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, Collected Works, Volume 4, English edition, Lawrence and Wishart, 2010, page 281. End of footnote 10. We, the Chinese people, during our most arduous and bitter struggles, have applied our indomitable will and resolve, along with unprecedented wisdom and strength, to forge a path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We have created two wonders: rapid economic development and long-term social stability. We have created a new model for human progress and dramatically increased China's soft power. The international community deserves to be given a true picture of China's development path and its successes, and to understand the transformation in Chinese people's lives and thinking. Literature and art facilitate communication and connect souls. You should root yourselves firmly in China's earth to tell stories about China. With broader vision and greater confidence, you should select the subjects that best represent the spirit of China, and make more images of Chinese culture widely known to the world. You should strive to present a lively and multidimensional China and contribute to the building of a global community of shared future. The cultural identity of a nation is often embodied in the national character of its literature and art. Writers and artists should keep Chinese culture in mind when communicating with other writers and artists around the world. It is important to attend to the artistic content and forms of the Chinese nation, inheriting and bequeathing the traditions of national folk literature and art by expanding their genres, forms, and styles, and establishing the Chinese style in the world's literary and artistic canon. Fifth, I hope that writers and artists will keep to the right path and realize your life's worth by pursuing both moral integrity and artistic success. As a Qing scholar said, a cultivated person of noble and lofty aspirations can produce succinct and vigorous expressions of profound thoughts. Footnote 11. Ye Xie. On the Origin of Poetry, Yuan Shi. Ye Xie, 1627-1703, was a poet and poetry critic of the Qing dynasty. End of footnote 11. Literature and art must serve to cultivate virtue and nurture the mind. Be mindful of the connection between individual virtue, your social images, and the social impact of your works. Hold to the ideal. Strive to be upright. Promote integrity and win a reputation for yourselves with your moral excellence and great works. Those who undertake the mission of cultivating virtue and nurturing the mind must cultivate and nurture themselves first. Timeless classics are often the products of writers and artists who are open-minded, knowledgeable, talented, and upright, and whose integrity can be read from the quality of their work. As an ancient writer said, writings, if useful to society, are never enough, even if there are more than 100 of them, while if useless, one single page is far too many. Footnote 12. Wang Chong, Discourses Weighed in the Balance. End of footnote 12. Artistic creation is a painstaking process. Excellence can never be reached overnight, but requires concentration, devotion, and sustained effort. There is no future for those who want to take shortcuts in quick results and superficial success, for those who dream of overnight fame and worldly wealth. Literature and art should be popular, but not vulgar. They must be close to life, but must never be the source or advocate of negative social influences. They must be innovative, but should never descend into absurdity. It is not wrong for literature and art to pursue material success, but they cannot be all about money and must not become slaves to the market. Creation comes from heart and soul. Good performance relies on ability. Positive social image emerges from hard work. Financial success depends on quality, and fame rests on moral integrity and artistic attainments. Humor in poor taste. Sensationalism Reckless indulgence and insatiable desire for wealth will only do harm to literature and art. You must work with profound respect, devote yourselves wholeheartedly to your profession, and work diligently to hone your skills and achieve genuine fame. Self-improvement can never be an entirely personal matter for writers and artists. The moral standards of the literary and art sector will influence the cultural environment and society. Writers and artists are prominent forces in society. Your every move will have an impact on the public. You must cherish that influence and take the social impact of your works into serious consideration. A writer or artist who does not have moral integrity will be rejected by the people and the times. Those who do not respect themselves will not win respect from others. Take your social responsibilities seriously. Abide by the law. Support public order and uphold good morals. Guard against the temptations of mammonism, hedonism, and extreme selfish interests, and remain upright and incorruptible. Keep in mind the famous lines, "Holding my head high in defiance of the enemy's attacks, bowing my head low in obedience to the people." Footnote 13. Lu Xun, Self-Mockery. Complete Works of Lu Xun, Volume 7, Chinese edition, People's Literature Publishing House, Beijing, 2005, page 151. Lu Xun, 1881-1936, was a man of letters, thinker, and revolutionary, and one of the founders of modern Chinese literature. End of footnote 13. Exalt the true, the good, and the beautiful, while rejecting the false, the evil, and the ugly. The positive should be acknowledged and praised openly, while the negative should be resisted and condemned without hesitation. Promote healthy trends and good morals, create a positive image of the literary and art sector, and foster a clean cultural environment that values self-esteem and mutual learning. End of Part 12.